Hey y'all, it's Friday afternoon after work. It's overcast. I don't know if we're about to get some rain or what, but that would be awesome. But I am out here looking around in my yard and in my garden beds, and off in the wooded section, which I lovingly call the jungle, we have some wild blackberries growing right along the edge, and I'm fixing to go over there and pick some more so maybe I can make a blackberry cobbler. This is the jungle area behind me, and stuff just grows up. We really need to get a bush hog or something and clean all this up, but that'll be for another time. But right now I'm gonna enjoy it because I'm getting some blackberries, and I'm trying to get to them before the deer eat them all up. You see those red canes, or the canes with the red berries on them along the edge here? These are the blackberries. They start out red and they turn black like that when they ripen. And I think this is so fun because, of course, I did not plant these here. These are just wild. And they just come up and do their own thing. And I think that is so neat. They're thorny though, so you have to be careful. And I'm not gonna get way on over in there because I'm sure there are snakes and ticks and red bugs, and I'm just not into that right now. Probably some poison ivy up in there too. So I'm just gonna have to be extra careful and watch where I step. Let me see if I can't get us in here a little bit closer and stretch and grab some of these blackberries that are ready. I've already picked a few, and they're in the refrigerator from a couple of days. Ah! I've already been mauled by these thorns. This is some of my other harvests from today. Cucumbers, some little cherry tomatoes, and some string beans. Y'all, these tomatoes right here, I think they're called Sun Gold or something like that. Next year, I'm gonna be planting so many of those because those are the most delicious tomatoes I've ever eaten. And they bloom or ripen early, so you can harvest them before your slicer tomatoes start coming in. Blackberries are not my favorite berry because to me, they taste a little bit bitter and they're very seedy, and the seeds get all between my teeth. But they're here, and when you cook them, like to make the cobbler, I just put them in a boiler with some sugar, maybe a little bit of water, and a little bit of cornstarch to kind of thicken it up a little bit. And they have to have a good bit of sugar on them to make the cobbler good. But my daddy used to love a blackberry cobbler. I think that these leaves are pretty. Reminds me of fall. Oh look, here's a good bit of them right here. Maybe I can just sit down and pick them. See? I'm really surprised that the deer have not ravaged these. But if there are this many right here, on the edge of the yard, there are probably a lot more back in the jungle woods back there. So maybe that's where they're eating their blackberries. How many of y'all like blackberries? I've seen the blackberries advertised that, they'll grow big berries and they'll be thornless. The canes are thornless. That sounds like a pretty good deal. But I really don't like blackberries well enough to go buy a plant and plant it. But if they're already here and free, I'll get them, I'll gather them, and I'll make a cobbler. Hey, Rebel. Do you like blackberries? Do you like blackberries? You probably do. There's one. You have to be gentle when you pick them because they'll be squishy. Oh no, I dropped one. There's one. Beginning to rain. More blackberries for the blackberry cobbler. It's time to make the blackberry cobbler. I picked another little handful of blackberries today. I don't have quite enough, I don't think. But I have a few blueberries. I had some left in the refrigerator from earlier in the week. So I'm just gonna add these to the blackberry cobbler. I think that'll be fine. So I rinsed them. I'm gonna put them in this boiler. Well, the first thing you need to do is put a stick of butter in an 8x13 Pyrex dish and go ahead and put that in the oven and let that butter start melting. My oven is preheated to 350. Okay, now what you need to do is I put my berries in a boiler. I'm just putting them on top of the stove there, and I am going to put, I don't know, what is that, like a half a cup of sugar or something. We like sugar around here, don't we, Marcus?
Absolutely.
And I'm also going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in there with the berries. I don't know why. I read it in a couple of recipes, and I think it just gives the berries some brightness, maybe. This recipe is just kind of made up from things that I found on the internet, from ChatGPT, from what Mathis told me he thought that I needed to do, and most importantly from my church cookbook. I'll show you. This is my favorite cookbook in the world, and there are a couple of different good blackberry cobblers in here. And I love it. Now, one of them said to put a little cornstarch in with your berries. It kind of maybe sort of thickens the juice that comes out a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit in here. I don't even know how much. Just going to mix this up. Okay, gonna cut that off and just kind of let the berries sit there in the juices. All right, now you take a cup of self-rising flour, a cup of sugar, a cup of milk, and I'm going to put a little vanilla in here because I think vanilla needs to go in all the desserts. And I am going to put some cinnamon in here, because it's good too. Now, I didn't measure any of that. And then just mix it up. The butter has melted in the Pyrex. Now you just pour your batter into the Pyrex. I try to get all that batter out. I don't like to leave anything behind. Don't stir it up in the Pyrex or mix it or anything. Woo. Then you just take your berries and kind of spread them out on top.
Where's Matt?
I don't know.
Up in here.
Sprinkle some sugar on the top. And put it in the oven for about 45 minutes. Delicious.